Hello and welcome back to Pandemic Playground with Dave. We are back with Never Surrender Ship Evolution, and it's time to move forward with our shipbuilding process. So let's get started. Alright, so last we left off is trying to get some cobalt. And our cobalt asteroid meteor is right over there, about 600, 700 meters away. And turning this thing is quite difficult. And that could be because there's a lack of gyroscopes, especially on the exoskeleton. What is also surprising is that my exoskeleton it's got to be connected somewhere. Right there. No. It's not connected anywhere. Oh, right here. Up front. Okay. Whew. It scared me for a second. Like, how come everything's not connected and we were able to do a jump? That's because the front's connected, so that's fine. No big deal there. Alright, so we gotta move this thing a little bit to get to the cobalt so it's easier to maneuver. So I think what we need to do is enlist the help of some additional gyroscopes. And the gyroscope being on the exoskeleton, basically. Without it being on the exoskeleton, I think it's making it really hard to turn. So we probably gotta make like one or two of these things. But we really gotta hide them too. Because if we put it somewhere where it could get shot down, then obviously that's not a good placement. But where can we put it? I kind of don't want to put up top, but we might have to. We could probably put on the side or on the bottom if necessary. Or within the wings itself, and I guess a little light tap could kind of take me out. So that's not great. Want a large grid gyroscope, and we want it now. Where do we want it? And we can put it inside to protect it, or we can leave it outside. Well, not outside, but somewhere back here. What if we did something like right here? Probably not the best placement for it, but we're gonna go with it just to add to the design a little bit. We might not even have the materials for it. 500 steel plates, which we probably won't have because all of this is taking up all the steel plates, the exoskeleton. So hopefully most of the metal grids are up and running. Yep, we're good. Thruster components. That is something we need to produce as well. Looks like we can't make any more metal grids because we do not have any more cobalt. So that's a bit on the unfortunate side. Yep, we're out of that. And our survival kit's making the steel plates for now. Yeah, that's fine. So what if we do assembler 4? Let's just queue up a ton more steel plates and go a little faster because the survival kit's a little slow on producing steel plates. So we have that going. Okay, that's perfect. So it's gonna take some time to get this all done. I think we're missing stuff. Metal grids. Alright, so we are missing metal grids for the cobalt. So let's just not delay and just grab this guy and just go ahead and drive it towards the cobalt. And this is the fish refinery ship. Ooh! That may or may not have been a bad idea. No, we're okay. Got a little scared because we were kind of flat against the bottom of the ship. And going diagonal like that was a little bit scary because I thought we were going to break something. So the cobalt is right over there. I think we have to like really get into it because it's deep inside, I believe. Yeah, we already have a hole here, so we're just gonna stick it in, I guess we could call it. We'll stick it in, maneuver around, and hope we get enough cobalt. So we do have a camera with panning, so we should be okay to maneuver. Okay, so all my drills are up and running. We're probably gonna end up gathering a good number of stone, and that's something I kind of didn't want. I should have checked if there's stuff in here, and there's a ton of stuff in here for whatever reasons. Not what I wanted, but it's okay. Can we fit in here? Let's find out. So we are long ways away to the cobalt. So that's not good. The cobalt's right, I don't know if you can see it right there. Is this hole bigger than I expected, than I think it is? Oh, it is. Okay. Now, hold on. Before we do this, let's not collect the stone. I don't really care to collect the stone. So we're gonna do a bit of a right click drilling, expand this hole, make it a little bit bigger, so we can get the cobalt a little bit easier. And that way we won't kind of collide with everything too. Now the worst part about this, I can't see anything with all that smoke from the digging. And that's good to go. Yeah, the drilling system definitely ain't the best thing in the world because it leaves room for error. And when I'm saying error, I'm talking about the fact that I can't push this thing all the way in because right here and down here. So ideally we have a drill right over here in front of that hinge, but we don't. And honestly, we technically don't even need this hinge drilling piece. We just use the two and go forward and gather as much materials that way. And it's a lot quicker too, I think. Having this extra hinge and everything like that is a little bit bothersome, to be honest. Yeah, I think it is. So why don't we change that? Let's just change it right now. So let's just turn this off in terms of drilling. I'm just going to move it. I'm going to take these hinge things off. It's very unnecessary. But I'm going to put the drill right over here instead. So that's what I'm kind of thinking and having in mind at this very moment to make this thing work a little bit better. Of course, doing that, we're still not going to have, you know, a good way to drill a deep hole like we had initially, unless we make this a rotating drill system, I think. If we make it a rotating drill system, we have to make it reset into being vertical to make that work. The other option is to make a form of hinge sweeping system, and again we have to reset to 0 or so that it can fold back to being straight or whatever. So I mean, those are the possibilities. Do I really want to do that? Absolutely not. So we're just gonna deal with it we're just gonna make it simple. I mean, we just need to pop in, grab some, pop out, that's all. Nothing, we don't need anything too crazy at the moment. But we're just gonna put that there. Another drill here. So we're just gonna do it this way. I mean, that's the best outcome, quickest outcome for now. We'll just go forward, drill a little hole, and come back out. That's as simple as that. Quickest thing to do instead of, you know, breaking stuff, wasting time on fixing it, because that's what we're gonna end up doing for the most part. So there we have it. We're just gonna do a simple two-handed drill system this time instead of having the hinge pieces, because honestly it does get a little ridiculous with it, because we can't just, you know, dive right in, meaning just go right in like this and start drilling for everything that we need. So now we have them on, we can easily go forward, gather as much as we need, and technically, honestly, we're in space. So if we needed to rotate instead of using a rotor and all that stuff, I mean, what we can do is, I'm gonna back it up a little bit, actually not use a rotor or any of that. Let's just go ahead and use the gyroscope by going Q and E. by going this way. And then that way we have a rotating drill system. And that should work okay. I think. Well, minus the fact that I just crashed a little bit. I don't even know what I crashed on. I mean, that is a possibility, right? Gyroscope. I mean, we could tell the gyroscope to do the roll for us. Although, I'm not sure if it's going to be a perfect roll with the drilling. It might even break something. I think we're rubbing against something. Yeah, we are. We need to move this thing around a little bit. Yep, there we go. And we can just rotate it this way. Gather our ore or cobalt the ridiculous way possible. Obviously, this is not ideal, but it does work. It's the same as a rotor in an essence, right? It's just rotating in a roundabout, circly area. And of course, we can easily gather materials going forward. So that's more important, is to be able to go forward than anything else. So cobalt-wise, we should be good. We have a decent amount, 321k spare. That's not in the refineries just yet. I think if we're able to, I would try my best to gather a little bit more. So it looks like this thing is more wide in the way. So in order to stick my whole head in there, or head of the ship, I should say, just to be a little bit more clear, we should get it to the wide area. And our ramps are gonna hit the sides, I think. Right now, it should be okay. We should fit. Oop. I think we hit, yeah, the cobalt front. So that's kind of the best we can do right now. I don't know how far we can get our ship in here. It's looking not too bad, actually. It's a bit of a crash there, but we're gonna get to the point where I think that's the first we can go without breaking anything or breaking anything any further. But that should be gathering a decent amount of stone. Not stone, no, cobalt. And hopefully I'm not stuck. A little bit. Okay. We should be good. And obviously we can open this up a little bit more. So right click drilling. It's always a possibility. And the right click drilling is perfect because it does get to both sides evenly, so you don't waste or get the stone right here in front of us, or right in the middle, which is gonna be bad if it is in the middle of us. Okay, so that's decent. I'm gonna try to open this up more just to see what's behind it, if it's cobalt or stone. And it looks like it's mostly stone, so that's not the greatest thing in the world. But right around here looks like the edge of the cobalt, which should be okay. And obviously that piece of cobalt right in front of us is gonna hit the bridge if we get any closer, as you see right there. So it's gonna stick out a little bit, but again, we just open it up a little bit and go for it. I think this is still a lot faster than using the hinge system that we had before, which is a little flawed, where it couldn't go through the meter anyway. So it is what it is, and I think we're pretty much stuck right there. Yeah, we're pretty much stuck. Okay, let's just bring this back, and I think we have enough cobalt for the time being. So it looks like we did break stuff as well, which is not great. Alright, let's fly back. I think we have enough cobalt, right? Oh, ooh, we kind of filled up on cobalt, actually. Okay, so we should have enough now. In terms of our metal grids, I would hope. That's a lot of cobalt. That's going to take forever to refine, but 8 refineries should do the trick, I would think. We are flipped around. So we're gonna maneuver it this way. And I'm not sure, but it looks like we are very close to our exoskeleton. Ouch. Not what I wanted. That's gonna be a lot of materials wasted right there. Yeah, that wasn't good. I knew we were close, obviously, but I didn't know we were that close. Oh well. Ooh, okay. Yeah, I'm just gonna be my worst enemy here, basically, and just destroy my own ship before we even get to the waves and everything like that. So, yeah. It's more about watching myself more than anything. Okay, we need to get squared up right here. I think we're good. Bring it up just a bit. Oh, why did I think the connector was there when it's actually behind us a bit? All right, we're good to go. Yeah. So what did I destroy? Ooh, okay. I destroyed, I hope, mostly steel plates. And I think I did. Did I destroy a thruster? No, doesn't look like I did. So we should be okay. I don't know why I did that. Should have checked how close I was, but okay. Yeah, that's fine. So this thing should, or the building repair should fix this, but it's not. I don't know what it's doing. It's I guess it's still welding up the rest of the metal grids on that side. So on this side, obviously we need to get this little fixed up. The exoskeleton, maybe because the color is making it look really awkward, or maybe it's this ship here. So if I think if I remove this ship, that's how I designed it initially. So then this would be the battle ready ship, and this is kind of our drilling ship or our transport ship. So if that is the case, maybe we find a way to connect this to this guy somehow. And then when we're ready to battle, this bridge system should go into the refinery system and the main ship attached to the exoskeleton. And that's how it should be designed. So that we have like two different ships. One's to stay back and repair, and one's to be out in the front lines to battle, basically. So if we were to take this one off, and if I remember how to do that, that would be great. So I think we got to take off these pieces here. So first off, it is going to be unlock, retract, and then unmerge. Yep. So that's the bridge system. This is the basics of the ship. I think the ship, we should probably just get rid of the drilling system. We probably don't need it. The refining ship should be more than enough in terms of gathering materials and things like that. So we can kind of redesign this piece right here. We could just, I think we should just get rid of it, to be honest. And I think that's what I'm going to do. Let's just get rid of it. We don't need it. Alright, so that gets rid of that. We can leave the piston here for now if we decide to use it for anything. But let me take a look at this really quickly. Yeah, I definitely designed the exoskeleton without the bridge ship here. Because this thing does add some weirdness to it. So obviously, if we want to transport the whole thing, we'll just merge everything and transport it. But once we're getting ready for battle, we need to separate this guy off and this guy off. And of course the welding ship off. And just kind of merge it all into this one here. So how can we do that? So we have a connector on top here. And we don't have a connector for this guy here anywhere. But we also want to avoid burning our ship down. I think 1, 2, we get 3, 4 maybe. I think that's enough to prevent it from burning anything down. But how would this and that match? The only thing I can see is if I connect the same connector, we should put a connector right up front over here. And it's gonna sink down a little bit. That might be the strat. So let's get rid of this piston. And we probably need to get rid of the ore detector. Actually, we should get rid of the ore detector, but I'm not going to. We're gonna put maybe, I think this one of these piping system would be a little bit better. We'll put one here and one below, and then the connector. It's gonna look a little odd though with this shape. Let's see what it looks like. We should probably move the ore detector over here though, actually. You know what? Let's just do that. Here we go. So the ore detector, we don't need the ore detector here. This thing is no longer gonna detect ore. So screw that. We're gonna put in a conveyor junction here. And we just gotta put a connector here, I think. Yeah, connector right here. So that would line up with the one in the rear. So just put this thing right over here. And we can change this out because we can now put regular blocks. And I kind of want to do that. And the tip right there. So that should be okay. Yeah, that's not too bad. Alright, so we should get this all welded up. And one of the simplest way to do that, let's just move this thing closer to our build and repair system. Although it's probably not on the order right now to get this welded up. We can leave it floating here to get it welded up, if anything. Oh, no, it's working. Perfect. Exactly what I hear. Yep, that's working pretty well. I think if I just weld it up myself, it'll be a lot faster too. There we go. But what we can try to do, once again, is to get this ship merged into the other ship. Not necessarily merged, but connected. So let's just try it. And now I'm stuck. So what am I stuck on? So yeah, I don't know what I'm stuck on. This is off. That's off. We're not attached to anything. So can I please go? Now, I am curious to see what that is. That's not this is off. It's not this is off. This was off. And it's still off. So why are we considered stuck on here? Is it really because of this? I would hope not. That would be terrible. But nothing else is stuck together. So that's interesting. I don't know what to say. We can reverse this thing, right? Reverse. So that's off. This is on off. This is off. So we should be able to fly forward. A little confused. Yes, I guess we are stuck on the ship right here. Between this block and this block onto this thing right there. Potentially, that tip is not a separate grid. I think. Because we got rid of the merge blocks. And we can't fly out of here. So I think that is definitely the problem. A bit odd as it sounds, but yeah, that's just not good. Okay, It's released from it now, so let's see. Yeah, so that's really interesting how that works. A little tip of it was connected to the other piece. How does that work? I don't know. It fits in the same box or buildable piece of the box, then that might be the problem, but I did not think it would have done that though. That's actually quite interesting to me, but it's okay. We'll just leave it kind of like that. But we do now have to get back our merge block grouping. Okay, so that's gonna go into that front over there. I just want to try and see what this is gonna look like. This thing's still refining, but just fine. We're just gonna unlock it, go down a little bit, go forward, and hopefully we don't break anything. We're looking good. And here is where we're going to connect onto this ship here. And we are so off. Okay, so that definitely doesn't look great at all, but I mean, it's a double decker. Nope, that just looks like it's an add-on piece. But if we did make something, if we could, we can't right now because we have those lights over there. We could make a block going outwards to kind of look like it attaches right here and design it a little bit more from there. Then yes, maybe it'll look good. But as it stands, not so much. I mean, we could do something like this, I think, right? Nope, that doesn't work. Yeah, I don't know what to do with this. It just looks like two separate ships touching each other, which is, you know, not the best look in the world, but this thing would probably fly decently at least, I would think. Oh no, with the connector, no, we need a merge block. With a connector, it's not activating as one ship. So we definitely need a merge block of some sort. Okay, so that's connected, which is great. It still doesn't look like one ship. It would be nice to have it looking like one ship. Not much we can do about it currently. But with the merge block, at least now, this thing can drive together. Yep, that's perfectly fine. So yeah, so building this in mind, the refinery ship, without thinking about it merging with anything else was the biggest problem. That's why not much we can do about it. I still think if we had two and put them on the wing side, it would pretty much look decent. But it's alright. But we can at least still plug and play this thing right over here with the main ship. Like so. Oop. That's just moving everything around. Alright, so I think I have an idea of how to make this thing work a little bit better, or connect a little better. The only problem with the idea I have, which is bringing this thing and turning the bottom piece a little more flat. So I think the best way we can make it flat is starting from this point right here and on. And then try to connect it as a wing piece to a main ship, or a bridge ship I should say. There's the bridge ship, that's the main ship, and kind of attach it to the side. That might look decent, but we gotta be careful where that thruster is pointing at the same time. So if we made it flat on the bottom, it might be too close to that, or even this, to burn it down and things like that. So you know what, let's see what it's gonna look like if I do flip it around just a tiny bit. So let's just unmerge this thing. Oh, I just realized what I did here, which is a bad thing, is that this block is now merged onto this grid. So fishtail's gonna have to go for now. And drive this guy away. Okay, so the idea, and hopefully this might work out okay, is to put it on, place this ship on the side of the bridge ship. Looks like we can't really do it that way because we are colliding with everything. So that's why I wanted to do it kind of this way. So we just turn it sideways. And one of the reasons why I'm thinking of using it this way is because that way we can merge it easier with the bridge ship more than the battle ready ship part of it. So if we did something like this, which is really, really hard to see, we can match it up to there. And we should be able to back it up a little bit too. So if we did that, it's not gonna work. Well, it would work, but how far are we from the thrusters? So if I did make the bottom piece flatter and got rid of the two refineries here, we can make it a little bit closer towards the bridge ship. That's fine. But how close is it to this? I think we need about 7 blocks away for it to be okay and not toast it. This is already 3 blocks, 4, 5, 6, 7. So technically, as it stands right where it is, it's the ideal spot. But how's that gonna look? Probably not so great, to be honest. So we either lift this guy up or we bring it down a bit. I mean, we're not really centered right now, but if we were centered, we'd be a little closer to this grid here. But what if we brought it up just a tiny bit? I think that might work. Let's just try that. So when I mean bring it up, I mean to push it this way here. Like so. And kind of like that. And it would look decent if I had 2 of them attached on both sides. Although I don't think I have all the materials for that, but it's a possibility. And okay, I didn't bring it, I brought it a little too high, which is, it's okay. We don't have to center it, but it would look better if it is centered, obviously. But we could find a way to connect it right around here, if we can. But I think most of this right here is actually ion thrusters. So that's the biggest problem. Or right here, this block here is not an ion thrust. That's actually just a steel plate, which we will have to put conveyors there if we want to get this thing stuck together, at least merged. Well, merging is fine. We can use merge blocks a little separately. But connecting it to a connector, that's where we're probably going to have a problem with. Unless we make it right here with a piston connection. That could work, I think. I think that might be an idea. So if we got rid of 2 blocks, we get a little bit closer to the bridge ship. But if we left it the way it is, it wouldn't be terrible either, but it wouldn't work out as nicely. It wouldn't look as great, I think. It would look okay. It's actually not too bad. It definitely would look a lot better without, yeah, I think it will. So let me dismantle this piece really quick. Right, so that's the flat piece of it. It's looking decent, not too bad. There's not really a lot of spots where we connect this in terms of a merge block, but maybe we could do something with a connector at the same time. We would need to do both, to be honest, but let's just disconnect this thing really quickly. Bring this up a little bit before we decide on what we want to do here. Of course, ideally, we want to kind of center it, and by center, I mean this middle piece right here. This is directly in the middle of the ship. I kind of want it to be on the level of this thing right here, which would be possible, I think. But if not over there, maybe along the sides of this thing right over here. That could be a decent spot as well. So let's see. If we wanted to connect it with a merge block, we could pretty much make one right here if we need to. Which wouldn't be too bad. It wouldn't stand out too crazy. So let's see, it'll be right here. throw in a merge block. We can just throw it right over here. It stands out a little bit, but it's okay. So we did it right there, then it'll be okay. And here's where we could do, I think, and this might have been proven wrong before based on the little problem that we had previously with a bit of a angle was preventing a merge situation being unlocked. But if we did something like this, it extends the wing a little bit. It looks a little bit odd, but not too bad. And of course, we can add a merge block. Let's just say we want to be as far apart as possible, but not too far. So let's just say we could put one here, but I think that's too far. But that would also be a better bet. So we're not too close to this piece of the armor. So maybe we do put an armor right here. A merge block right here. So if we throw in a merge block right over here, we might be okay. And then we gotta find a bit of a connector space. So we should look for one relatively soon. Let's see what we can do here. Okay, so let's line that up kind of like that. Go forward and merge in. There. So hopefully everything works out okay in terms of how we're merged in and everything like that. So it's looking decent. It's not too bad. So we could technically design this out more with the golden shiny armors. I think we use the retro future right here. And of course we could do something like this if we wanted to. Either use a full block or half block. Let's stick with half blocks for now, just to kind of cover things up a bit. And that would, you know, it kind of looks decent, nothing too crazy. Just adds a little bit more shape to it on the flatness part in the back. And yeah, that's looking okay. I think if we add it a little bit closer, well, not as far back as we have it here, but the only reason why we're doing that is so we don't get too close to this thing when we are attached back here, which I think we are slightly too close still, but I don't think we have much of a choice at this point. So there's that. So the connector piece, that is where we're gonna have an issue with. Why we want to get connected, obviously, because all the refining is done in here, and of course we want a spot to get the connector out, so it transfers all the materials from one ship to the other ship. And in all honesty, I think we could move this thing even closer if we had to. So let's see if we could do that. Okay, so if we add the merge block one block difference, maybe that would be a little bit better. So let's add a merge block right over here. And I think we could put a connector right where we have right here. I think we could do that. Let's see. It links up all the way up to here into, I think, right around here would be it. So we could connect it to this cargo container if we have to. And I think that's what we might have to do here in terms of getting the connector. But in terms of getting it closer to the ship, we can, I think, get rid of some of these blocks here. So we're going to connect it right here. So let's get rid of this wall. And put the merge block here. And I think this is where we want to merge. So we get back one block. And it sinks in just a little bit more, which is kind of what I want. Let's see what this looks like. So what I mean is back up one block. And then go straight to the right. And then merge in. Like so. Now, the question is, can we unmerge? So we are much, much deeper in here. Nothing's really touching. This is barely touching. And that's touching, but I don't think that's gonna matter, and I hope it doesn't matter. And if it does, we can just remove it and put something here. But I think if we do the connector right here, we might be pretty good. And then we got to go in here and put these as conveyor junctions. So I could put a conveyor junction right here. And if we really, really wanted to, we'd just put a piping system. But I think I'm just going to throw in a whole bunch of conveyor junctions right there to fill in the space. So basically, like so. 1, 2, over here. And then we can add a connector right here. So the worst part is we didn't think this through all the way, but in order to make this kind of work, the connector has to be sticking out on this end. So it's going to be really, really tough to park it. Not a lot of leeway there. So basically what I mean is add a connector right here. But now you have the connector from the refinery ship pointing out this way. But then you have the merge block here pointing out towards the refinery ship. So that's where it's going to get a bit tricky. I think I'll leave this. Yeah, that'd be a little bit tricky in terms of parking it. But of course, if we back it up a little bit. No, we can't back it up. So that's a problem. So connect the point there. It could work. But it's not going to be an ideal spot. So is there a better spot to this? Potentially. But we have to get rid of some blocks here. So let's see what we have in here. Do we have any connection? Okay, we have a connection point right there. So we could probably utilize this, I think. Honestly, I don't even know if this thing is going to burn out anything. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4 away. I think that might be okay. If not, then we'd have to utilize this piece here. Right here. So, alright, so this is what we're going to do. We're going to grab a connector right here. And we'll just leave it out right over here. And it's going to ruin the ship's look a little bit, but it's not significant. So it's not that bad. What I'm thinking is going to be a few sets of things. So one is going to be a hinge system. We're going to add a hinge system here. We're going to add a piston right over here. We can add another hinge system here. And then finally, we'll add our connector right here. We don't have the space for it right there, but that is kind of what I'm thinking. And it should work out okay if we bend it enough in multiple areas in multiple ways. And when I say bend it, I mean the hinge to change its directions a little bit with degrees and everything like that. Although we don't need a piston. We can line it up perfectly actually with the, I think maybe we should do that first. Okay, so 2 pipings and we have the hinge there. I think 2 piping is actually ideal. We rotate this to a specific degrees, which probably would be right around there, maybe 45, and we change this to 55. Ooh, that's a little bit sketch. So we're off by smidge. So if we're off by smidge, then we got to reduce this. So instead of 55, we go 50. Maybe. Not ideal to do it this way because it's gonna do that. But that made it a lot closer. But I still don't think it's not gonna be a perfect connection, unfortunately. No, we're still slightly off. Yeah, piston would have been good. It wouldn't be perfect still, but it would have been better. It needs like a half block forward. That's what it really needs. So I guess it's unfortunate, but we're gonna have to enlist the help of a piston. Although we probably don't even need to extend at this point, because it does give this kind of half block right here that we need. So we put that here, and then we put the connector right here. It should connect on its own, because I think we're close enough to it. No, we're not. Oh, no, we are. See, right there. The problem that I'm going to have now... Actually, no, not going to be a problem. So, because we're going to do this. So, if we can get everything done automatically, we reverse this. We reverse this. So, this fish is going to have a bit of a... You know what? So, at least it looks clean that way, in some senses. But we can also add a look to it as well. I think this is not going to disrupt the hinge too much. We'll put a half block here instead of a full one. But yeah, it's going to have this little piece here, so it kind of sticks out a bit. So in the system, we'll turn this to reverse. So it goes to 45 there. We turn this guy also to reverse. So it gets close to the connector. Right there. And then we'll take this guy to reverse. So it gets right there. And then from there, we'll do switch lock to connect. And there you go. Reconnection. We got a decent look to it too, which is great. We could even put stuff on here if we really have to make it even look crazier or hidden in a sense. So maybe not this, but I'm thinking a block or so would do. And that's just to add a bit of randomness to it. Actually, get rid of that. I think we could do and get away with the either this block or this block. Let's do that. Yeah, so that looks a little more locked in. But let's just make sure I didn't connect it to it. Okay, perfect. All right, so that's what we're going to do. So I'm going to do hinge bot 1. And this will be hinge bot 2. And now we have a decent ship hanging on the right hand side of the bridge ship. So it's like an arm extension in essence. So if we have a similar ship on the left hand side, I think it will look decent. Do we want it to be the same kind of ship, like another drill ship with refineries? That's a potential possibility. Or do we turn that welder up there to be very similar to this ship as it flies and everything like that, but with less refineries and more maybe cargo containers or something similar in size? That could work too. But in terms of kind of just keeping the dream alive before we actually commit to it, we can probably put in a bit of a projection there. Go to our projector, blueprint, and we're just going to filter it to the latest grid, which is this one here. Some things are not supported, which is it's probably going to be the hinges and pistons and things like that, because those are subgrids. It is going to do that, which is fine. We can always rebuild it. It's not too much and too crazy anyways. So we do need to roll this thing around or pitch it or whatever the case is. Bit of a forward offset. I think we're a little off here because we have the back here. Yeah, this is the back. So I think we moved it a little too forward. We need to back it up some more, but it's hard to tell how much we need to back this up, and we need to drop it by 1? No. Okay, yeah. So, projector. Once again, we're gonna drop it down. Vertical offset right there. We're gonna back it up a little bit and put it in the forward right there. Looks like we need to drop it more. Well, actually, I didn't even drop it at all. There we go. And where is that merge block? Is that the top that I'm looking at right now? It looks like it is. So we definitely got to roll this thing or something. There we go. That looks better. Now we get this thing a little bit closer and we need to back it out. The merge block is back here. And there you go. We're on the merge block. So that is what that's going to look like. Hopefully I don't get too close to the ship here because it's going to start welding it with the build and repair. So let's just turn that off for now. Alright, so this is what it's going to look like. So if it's on the merge block and we have double arm systems, I feel like we should push it back just a tad bit more so it doesn't look too crazy. I mean, it looks like it has oversized boxing gloves on right now. And not much going on in the back. So I think if we pushed it back a little bit more, it definitely would look a lot better. But we're going to run into issues with this. So that is something I didn't want to run into issues with. So let's just push this thing back a little bit more. Let's try to merge this thing back on without causing any problems. And I kind of see a bit of a problem already. It is going to be the fact that I might not even be able to connect onto... Yep, I'm not going to be able to connect onto here because it is way too close to the... What's it call it? Thrusters. We're off by like 2 blocks. 2 to 3 blocks. 2 blocks. Yep, 2 blocks. And we're way too close to the thrusters. It's definitely going to burn out something, so that's not great. And the only reason why we're that close is because of the merge block that we did here. Being closer, we should have it extend out more to make it fit a little bit better. It'll fit like a glove, actually. Yeah, actually, it would fit pretty decently if I moved it over 2 blocks to the right, I think. Yeah, it looks like 2 blocks to the right. We should have some space. But another aspect that we can do is to extend this a little bit more than usual. For the time being, I think we could just do that. But I don't know if our piston's going to be long enough to reach it. It's probably not going to reach it. I think our piston here, it's at its maximum already. No, yeah, close to maximum, yeah. So we definitely need to get as close as possible to this, unless we extend the piston out a little bit more, which is something we could do. But I think ideally we need this thing to be pushed back 2 blocks. I really wanted to get close, but if it's so far away, it probably isn't going to look too bad. So, I mean, we could just play around with it and see. So we need to move it up like right there, I think. If we move it right up there, we're pretty much touching this a little bit. Pretty much on it. And I think we should be able to back up now. And if we back up, we need to back up about 2 blocks. But it's going to be really, really tight. That's not going to be the best thing in the world. Yeah, right around there. Right there is the best we're going to be able to do if we want to keep it this way. This itself is a problem. That's definitely going to burn. So, do we make this thing further out more? In terms of the merge block? I mean, the furthest we can go out is probably up to this point, which is only 1 more block more. Which is not going to help too much. But if we're going to keep it further back, I guess we could. Right around here is where we throw the merge block. Definitely not an ideal spot where it's going to make it look a little odd, but of course, we could do a little beam system or something like that and add it here, which wouldn't make it look too crazy either. Right now, I'm just going to use a slope. I could probably use a ramp, but something like this would also add a little bit of design towards the ship too. But we'll bring this thing forward and see if we can merge it on. It still is going to burn the ship, I think. It's a little too close to that. Do we risk it? Sure, why not? Let's see what happens, basically, to it, if anything. I mean, a lot of this... Well, a lot of the bomb thrusters on the fish refinery ship should be fine. Yeah, that's fairly close. So if we were to merge right there... Which isn't too bad. It's a little more forward than I would prefer it to be. But, I mean, It isn't terrible. If we have another ship, or yeah, another ship that's similar or exactly the same, that's what that would look like from this view right here, which isn't too bad, to be honest. I gotta think about this. I'm gonna keep it like this because I like this whole piece right here to connect to it. But what do we want to do with this? Do we want to make the same ship with the refineries and everything like that, with the drill system? Really no point, because we don't need two. Do we turn that into more of a welding ship instead? Which we'd need it because we have build and repair. So, I don't know. What do you guys think? Leave a comment down below. What should the other arm really be? Should it be the same thing or something different? Let me know some ideas. It'd be very helpful. Right, so that's gonna be it for today. Hope you guys did enjoy this episode. Right, so don't forget to hit that thumbs up, like the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so yet. Of course, drop a comment down below, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.